The CIA's most trusted Soviet analyst gazed at the photo on his desk, a woman with laughing eyes that promised escape from his gray existence. Aldrich Ames earned $60,000 annually while handling America's most vital secrets. But it wasn't enough for the life he craved, nor for the woman who captured his heart. This ordinary man in an extraordinary position was about to make a choice that would compromise every CIA agent in Moscow, all in the name of love. Meanwhile, at FBI headquarters, Robert Hanssen attended Sunday Mass like the devout Catholic he appeared to be. With 6 children and a wife he adored, he embodied American family values. Yet beneath this pious exterior festered resentment and intellectual arrogance. He believed the FBI failed to recognize his genius, setting the stage for the most damaging espionage campaign in American history, driven not by ideology, but by wounded pride. The transformation began subtly. Ames started dressing better, buying expensive suits his salary couldn't justify. Colleagues noticed his new Rolex, but dismissed it as inheritance. His wife, Rosario, beautiful and ambitious, appreciated the finer things he now provided. Each luxury purchase tightened the invisible noose around his neck, binding him to the KGB handlers who funded his new lifestyle in exchange for classified documents. Hanssen's betrayal started differently, not for luxury, but for validation. Using the code name Ramon Garcia, he left a package for Soviet agents at a dead-drop location. His first communication began arrogantly. "I know you people need my help." For 22 years, he would play this double game. FBI agent by day, Soviet mole by night, all while maintaining his image as a devoted family man and church elder. The bodies began piling up in Moscow. Soviet assets the CIA had carefully cultivated were executed one by one. Agency officials watched in horror as their entire Soviet network collapsed. They suspected a mole, but looked everywhere except the balding, unassuming analyst in their own ranks. Meanwhile, Ames celebrated his birthday at an expensive restaurant, toasting with champagne paid for by blood money. Hanssen's methods were brilliantly simple. He used the FBI's own systems to spy on his colleagues while feeding the Soviets technical manuals for sophisticated surveillance equipment. He revealed America's billion-dollar eavesdropping tunnels under Soviet embassies. With each betrayal, he grew more confident, once even investigating himself when the FBI began hunting for their mysterious mole. The money transformed Ames' life. He bought a $500,000 house with cash, drove a Jaguar, and spent extravagantly on his Colombian wife. When colleagues questioned his wealth, he claimed his wife came from money. The CIA's security office conducted routine investigations, but failed to connect the dots. The very organization trained to spot deception was being deceived by one of their own. Hanssen maintained his bizarre double life with meticulous precision. He wrote detailed letters to his KGB handlers, criticizing their tradecraft, while simultaneously teaching FBI counterintelligence courses. He confessed his sins to priests, but never mentioned espionage. This deeply conflicted man compartmentalized his life so effectively that even his wife of decades suspected nothing. The toll became measurable in human lives. At least 10 Soviet sources were executed because of Ames' information. Among them was General Dmitry Polakov, America's most valuable military intelligence asset. As these men faced firing squads, Ames received $2.7 million from the KGB, making him the highest-paid spy in history. Each dollar stained with blood. The unraveling began with a routine financial investigation. CIA officials noticed Ames's spending dramatically exceeded his salary. Meanwhile, a KGB defector provided clues about a mole codenamed Robert. As investigators closed in, both spies continued their dangerous games, unaware that their worlds were about to collapse in a storm of handcuffs and headlines. February 21st, 1994. Ames drove his Jaguar to a restaurant, unaware he was being watched by dozens of FBI agents. As he enjoyed his meal, investigators searched his home, finding classified documents and $50,000 in cash. The evidence was overwhelming. That night, the man who betrayed his country for love would sleep in a jail cell. His luxurious life evaporated. Hanssen continued spying for 7 more years, even as counterintelligence tightened. His arrogance became his weakness. He reused old dead drop locations the FBI had discovered. On February 18, 2001, he placed a package at Foxstone Park, exactly where investigators waited. The devout Catholic who betrayed his country was arrested while praying decades would pass before his capture. The courtroom dramas captivated the nation. Ames pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty, receiving life imprisonment. His wife Rosario, whose expensive tastes helped drive his betrayal, got 5 years. Hanssen received life without parole at Supermax prison. The 2 men who compromised national security for different reasons would spend their remaining days in concrete cells. The damage assessment horrified intelligence officials. Ames compromised every CIA operation against the Soviets for 9 years. Hanssen revealed nuclear war plans, surveillance technologies, and double agents. Together, they set American intelligence back decades and permanently damaged relations with allies who questioned America's ability to protect shared secrets. The human cost extended beyond executed agents. CIA officers who had worked with Ames saw their careers destroyed. Their legitimate operations were questioned, their judgments doubted. The betrayal poisoned the well of trust that intelligence work requires, creating paranoia that would linger for generations within the intelligence community. Why did they do it? Psychologists analyzed both men extensively. Ames sought validation and the luxurious life he felt he deserved. Hanssen craved recognition for his intellectual superiority. Both men used nationalism as excuse, but their motivations were profoundly personal. A toxic mix of ego, resentment, and in Ames' case, a twisted notion of providing for love. The aftermath brought sweeping reforms. The CIA implemented regular polygraph tests, financial audits, and behavioral monitoring. The FBI overhauled its counterintelligence division. But the fundamental vulnerability remained: the human factor. No security system could completely eliminate the risk of trusted insiders betraying their country for personal reasons. The wives' stories added tragic layers. Rosario Ames claimed ignorance initially, but eventually admitted enjoying the riches. Bonnie Hanssen stood by her husband despite his devastating betrayal of their family and country. These women, one complicit and one victim, represented the collateral damage of espionage. Lives shattered by choices they didn't directly make. Today, both men remain in prison, living warnings about the consequences of betrayal. Ames, now in his 80s, will die behind bars. Hanssen spends 23 hours daily in solitary confinement. Their cases continue to be studied in intelligence training. Cautionary tales about how ordinary men can commit extraordinary treason when personal desires override national duty. The story of Ames and Hanssen transcends espionage. It's about the darkness that can flourish in the human heart when ambition, resentment, or love corrupts judgment. They traded nuclear secrets not for ideology, but for ego and affection. Their legacy serves as eternal reminder that the most dangerous security threat isn't external enemies, but the enemy within. The human vulnerabilities no security system can completely defend against. They traded nuclear secrets for love and ego, proving that the most dangerous weapons aren't missiles, but human weakness itself. If this story made you question how far someone might go for love, then subscribe to Reality Decoded, because next time we uncover another truth hidden in plain sight. This is Reality Decoded, where the greatest mysteries aren't in classified files, but in the human heart.